Hi there, welcome back. My name is Sheila. I've been trying to talk to you guys and will continue to talk to you guys about aging joyfully, finding things that bring us joy. So we talked about planners, pen to paper. I've got my pens, I've got some paper. I've got three planners here today that I want to show you and show you what I'm doing with them, and maybe just give you some ideas of things that you could do with a cheap little planner or a cheap notebook. So this came from Walmart, Amazon. I think we've said this before, I love the gold little trim around the edges. I love the gold ring binder, the little gold on the planner. I think it's lovely. And it feels, it's just cardboard. It is just a cardboard planner, but it feels sturdy, and it feels, especially this binding part, this feels really sturdy to me. And I think it's going to be just fine for this year of 2026. So to begin, I just put my name, okay? It's got a few places up front for important dates, contacts, last year, the month from last year. And then right here, it's got my top 5 goals for this year. And you can put your name and address and phone number. I'm not gonna fill my goals in until March. And we're gonna talk about why I'm doing that. So let's go to January here. And we can see how I've started. I showed you quickly on another video, but we'll get a little more in depth here. This is what I've started for January. I love my purple binder. I love my purple binder. I love the colors purple and blue together with some pink. I feel like this is just all I need. I did a little washi tape. Now, if you don't know what washi tape is, it comes in colorful patterned little rolls of tape. There's wider tapes, there's like medium tapes and little thin tapes. So you can get all the fun colors, and they're just easy to work with. They're not super sticky, and so they are really forgiving. So I can put this on. If I didn't like where it was, I can peel it off and put it on again. It's pretty cool and pretty fun. So a little purple washi tape. These are the main points that I want to work on in January. January and February and into March, the earth is hibernating and sleeping, and the earth cycle does not start fresh in January. The earth cycle starts in the spring. And some of us, and I've heard this a couple of years ago, and I've been hearing it now lately a lot, but some of us are kind of feeling lazy, and it's dark and it's cold in the winter, and we're not as motivated as we are when spring comes. So I think that spring is the perfect time to really jumpstart hard into your goals. So I think for me, January and February is going to be an experimental time. I do have things I want to work on. Now, exercise for me, I think I'm going to be successful because I was doing that anyway. It's important to me. It's been important to me quite a bit, so I will continue that. My scripture study, the same thing. It's pretty important to me. I do it regularly. I'm not super worried, but I do want to track. So, because some days I forget. I'm like, did I do that this morning, or was that yesterday morning? I'm not getting any younger, right? And I will say that over and over. So I just like to be able to double check myself. So, and then meal prepping, which is going to be my carnivore meal prepping. And the key to successful carnivore is to meal prep. So we'll talk about that later. And then I've got my YouTube day where I'm going to try. It did not happen this week. This week got a little crazy with work. And so Thursday ended up being my YouTube videoing day. And then I released on Friday. So there's going to be some wins and some loses and some losses and some goods and some bads here in January. And again, we're going to swing over here. Well, first let's talk about, I think I saw this on one of the other YouTubers who talk about things we need to work on, things we're not proud of, things that aren't a woohoo for us, and we need to work on that. So I have 3 things. I'm going to give myself 1 hour per day of sitting and scrolling on social media. Okay, and then I put a box for that, 1 box. The second thing I want to do is fix my sleep schedule. I would like to be asleep by 10 p.m. and up by 8 a.m. Now, that's a lot of sleep, I know, if I'm actually sleeping. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. I usually go to bed later than this, and I still usually get up about this time. But I would love to get to bed by 10 p.m. So I'm going to work on that, but that's going to take me. That might take me a few weeks to change my schedule and adjust my body to this kind of schedule. So we're going to have grace this month, and we're going to see how it goes. And then I saw other families doing this with their kids, mom and dad, everybody. 1 hour of quiet time before bed. So that's a book. That is off our devices, and that is not a book on our devices. That is no devices, nothing. Maybe we can color. Maybe I can work on my journal in a quiet time. I can get ready for the next day. I can work on my books journal. I can read. There's things you can do that are quiet with no electronics. So that's something I want to do by 9 o'clock for an hour every night. So I have accomplished that every day this week. This week, the first week of January was still party time, right? It was still the holidays. So as of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I accomplished that. I didn't track the hour of scrolling. I don't think I succeeded in that. And I did work on fixing my sleep schedule, but I have not been successful yet. So I'm not checking that off because I'm not quite there. I'm not asleep by 10 or even immediately in bed and ready for sleep by 10. I tend to be 11. So I'm working on that. We will see how that goes and we'll adjust as we need to. So in this calendar, I have only done January and February. Back here though, we also have days of the week. And make our notes. I put my work schedule. I will put my to-do lists. And I think this should be done at least by the night before. So if we have a list of things to do, if we can do it and say, hey, next Thursday, I've got to do this, Friday. But if you can, if it's Wednesday, you got to at least put on your Thursday before you go to bed the things you want to accomplish. Because it gets it out of our minds and it gets us ready for that day. And we can sleep better if we don't have these things hanging on our mind of all the things we have to do. So I have got February here now too. It's very much the same. I haven't written my bad habits yet and the things I need to work on. I'm going to see how January goes. And if I can do one good one, I'll write it in here and I'll keep working on other things I need to do. So I've only done 2 months because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a little more free with my time, a little more flexible and forgiving. And I'm going to work on that in January and February. So this was about $11 on Amazon. And I think that it's exactly all that I need. And it's lovely. And I've got some pens to mark some things and I'm good to go. So now the next journal is going to be just a little bit smaller. You can see a little bit smaller. It feels like leather. This one felt like cardboard. This one feels like leather. It's not, it's fake leather. And this is my reading journal. And then we have this blue guy, which again feels like leather. It has stitching and a magnet clasp. And they advertise it to be like a money journal to help you save money and budget. And put your cards in here. You can put money in pockets to save your cash every month. There's a lot of people budgeting that way. And I think that's a great, great option. But this I'm doing for my weekly scrapbooking. And look at this little page. I think it's the perfect size. So we'll come back to that. And I want to take you here for now. This is my reading journal. First one I've ever done in my life. So I'm going to give myself some grace and forgiveness on this one too, because you will see. It's pretty good. I'm not complaining too much. What I like about this too is it has a couple of bookmarks, some ribbon bookmarks, and I think that's just darling, and a little holder for a pen. Okay, so, and this again was just Amazon for about $11.99. There's beautiful stationery companies with beautiful journals, have embossed covers and lovely pages and all of that. And I love those, all look amazing, but I can't afford those right now. And so this is my budget. And to be honest, I love this. I don't know that I ever need anything more than this. So let's start with the first page I did. Now, I'm going to be honest. You'll see. But I really wanted to do this bookshelf page. I'd seen people do pretty amazing things, and I cheated, and I had my daughter on a separate piece of paper make me a fireplace. My artist daughter made me this with a fire in it and these 3 pictures, and I just glued those on. And I loved how they turned out. Is exactly what I wanted, what I asked for. And then I did these bookshelves, bookcases to go along to kind of have the vibe and match. And I think we succeeded grandly. And I did do a little candle, and I kind of wanted to start doing some plants or something. And then, to be honest, I just said, I don't care. I don't care. It's got books enough for the books I want to read this year. I've given myself the goal of 52 books, 1 book a week. And I will probably, perhaps, read more than that. But then some months maybe I won't. So I think this is a pretty good average. And I think I have about 60 books spots on here. But I did like trilogy. I have a lot of trilogies on my list this year that I want to read. This is my first book of January I finished. And there's 6 in this series. So here's a 6-book series. So I will color those as I get that series done. I have a 5-book series right here, another trilogy. I have a 5-book series right here, if it works out that way. I just know this series right now, and I know I have several trilogies. So I really love how this spread turned out. I don't think we can deny that it's pretty fine. But now let me show you the dilemma that I have. When I started this, I had a vision. Well, after I did that first page, then I kind of had this vision with my washi tapes, and I got some little pink fairy stickers, and there's some pink flowers, and I saw this being very pink and green and girly. So here is my opening page, and simple, you guys, simple. I've seen people do really extravagant, amazing stuff, but I just wanted it to be pretty simple and to the point for what I needed to document. So this is my opening page, really simple. 3 washi tape stripes, a boy and a girl, and my book journal. That took, 2 minutes to put that together. And that is basically my vibe. So if you compare that to that, the vibes were not the same. But I'm going to live and learn, because I'm absolutely using this year. Absolutely using this. It's totally fine. But you can feel, if you're an A-type personality, you're going to hate this, okay? But I can roll with it. I'm good. I can roll with it. So let's turn the page. These pages, and we're going to do this together. We'll do a little bit together here. I'll show you. But these pages, everybody glues them together, because if you try and separate it too far, it kind of comes apart, and it kind of makes your book want to not be stable. So, we're going to glue this down together. And these little tape things I think are great. Easy. They're tape glue type things. And they're so easy. Okay. Boom, boom, and boom. Put those right down together. Easy peasy. Now those are together. And then we're turning to basically my first page. And this is exactly the vibe I want for my whole journal. Again, you can see what we're going for, and how that other one's kind of a sore thumb. But a lot of people cut out book covers, print them out, cut them out, and do the literal book cover about this big. I think that's darling and great. But I don't know how to do it, for one. I'm not good with technology. I have a lot of technology to learn, even just right now, and this is not one that I wanted to worry about right now. And I love how I just tied in my colors of my titles of the 24 I'm going to read in 26. Now, some people are doing 26 and 26. I think 2 per month for life I'm committing to at the first of the year is 100% fine. I don't think I'll do ever any more than 24 no matter the year. I will obviously read more than 24, but these are the ones I'm really committing to wanting to read, and we'll see how successful I am. But washi tape down the side, little washi tape top and bottom, and a thin washi tape, and then stickers 24 and 26, sticker. Cutting these out and writing them down took a few minutes, but it wasn't too bad. I love how this page turned out. I've finished one book, and when I do finish that book, I'm going to rate it. So this was 4.5 stars for me. Pretty close to 5. But anyway, I'm going to just write that on every single one. Okay? Boom. Then we have that page. Now, here's again, we're in the same vibe, in the same family. And I do love this. I made a Dutch door. You guys, this is my first Dutch door that I've ever made. I've seen people do such amazing things. But these are just stickers, and I mimicked the exact stickers on the other side and cut around them. Now this right here isn't perfect, but it's pretty close, and I'm so happy with it. Washi tape down the sides, and this washi tape shows through this little Dutch door. And I love how it turned out. I stressed about this, which is why I didn't do it on camera, because I didn't know what I was doing 100%. I had the vision. I've seen people, but I didn't 100% know what I was doing. So I didn't do that on camera. Maybe next year. But this is a read my shelves spread. I'm going to write down all of the books that I have on my shelves that I'm going to read. And that's going to drift over onto these 2 pages as well. And then when I do read them, I'm going to put the date I read them and how many stars I gave them. And these 2 pages are perfect. It's just what I wanted. Over here, I screwed up because I was going to write, was it, did I own it? Was it from the library, or was it an audio? Obviously, I own it because it's on my shelves. So I just screwed up, and I'm going to have to live with that. But I'm going to write in it like this. All I'm going to do is put the date that I read it and how many stars. So I've got some times that I got to spend recording all of these books, but I've got it almost down on some scratch paper. So we'll be getting that done relatively soon. This page I wanted to dare do with you. I think I enjoyed watching other people do their pages. It was soothing. It was interesting. And I'm going to attempt to do this with you. So here we go. Here we go. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to washi tape down the sides. It's going to be simple. This is my new release book titles, and it's just going to be January, February, March, April, May, June, okay? Every month. Now I've given myself 2, well, this isn't going to be that exactly, but I'm giving myself where I can purchase 2 books a month. We're going to have purchased books over here. But the new release is coming out because I do have a lot of series I'm reading, and there's some series that's coming out that I really want to buy. So we're just going to start with washi tape down at the sides. I'm keeping with my pink and green vibe, so I really love all of these washi tapes. The edge I've got is kind of thin on this one, so I think I might go with the green on this one. I do have these cute green ones too, but I think I'm just gonna stick with some green for this page. So let's, I'm gonna turn this without hopefully knocking anything over, and hope you can still see, but turn it so that it's comfortable for you, and peeling up this washi tape. Now I think that's really cute, and I'm gonna put it right along the outer edge. End to end. Big scissors, little scissors. I'll go back and shape that up in a sec. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. And this tape is forgiving. If you don't like it, you peel it up and then you put it back down. And it is not rock solid glued on tape. You can always go in and shift it and then go put it back if you want to make it better. So that is kind of the fun thing about washi tape. I did buy a handful of washi tapes to do this with. And I'm going to scrapbook too, so they're not a big deal to have some washi tapes in my drawer to use with my scrapbooking. Oops, I just cut some paper on that, but that's okay. And then I'll cut this little side as well. Okay. I need to, I've been experimenting with 3 different black markers or pens. This is just a pen, and I don't know which one I like best. So we're just gonna continue on with this one. I'm gonna do something I think across the top, put new releases down at the bottom. But I wanna get these in first. So I did it all in pencil. I think you can see that. And we're just going to freehand. I'm all about freehanding. Other people use rulers. I like a little wavy double line, but in these little calendar boxes, I am going to freehand a straight single line. And that's pretty easy, especially if you're not super picky on being perfect. Other people use rulers and they zip through, and I get that. But I'm not picky. And I like it to look a little free-handed and softer. Okay. Okay, there is my 12 months. Now I'm gonna go and write in the months, and people have beautiful handwriting and beautiful voices for these types of videos. And I just don't, you guys. It is what it is. And this is my journal and I'm fine with it. So I'm just gonna use my handwriting. And write in my months. Now, I'm afraid to talk and write at the same time because I'm going to spell these months wrong, but let's give it a shot. Sorry, there is a little light shadow going on because it's nighttime and the sun is down. And I wanted to do this in the sun, but here we are. Whew, I did that. We survived that. Very good. Oh, I have a couple of lines I missed over here. Much better, much better. Okay. Now I will work on filling those in because I'm not sure which exact books I'm looking for are coming out when, but we'll add that. So now we're gonna just go all the way around, and I like this to be a little imperfect. And I like doing like a double line. So I just go that far, then we start again, and I don't mind if that double lines itself a little bit. Okay, I like that. People who like straight lines are not gonna like that, but I like that. And on another one, I might do some dotted lines, but for this, we're just gonna go. Okay, one. But there's those, the outlines of those. I'm going to do a little washi tape along the top, and I've got all of these little guys. I've got this cute pink flower guy. I have this other green. Ooh, maybe I'm just going to go with that other green, and then with a little line of pink. Yeah. So I'm going to do it across the top and the bottom. I kind of pondered that as I was doing those lines. So I'm going to see how this goes. And I like to just start here in the center and go to the edge and cut that. And then I will cut that little piece off right there and just let it go to there. And then we will do the same over here. I want the leaves to keep going the same way, so I'm gonna have to start over here, which is where you could just start at this end and go all the way over to go all the way over and then just cut the middle if you want to. Okay. Some people are so slick at that. Takes me a second. Okay, get that down. I'm gonna go in with this little pink guy and do a little second stripe. Just like right above it. Again, if it's not perfect, you can pull it up. I'll just cut that like with my fingernail because it's so tiny. And, you know, I'm good with that. Let's turn it around. And we'll do the same on this end. Let's try just doing the washi tape from one end to the other without having to do two. Okay, not too bad, pretty easy. I'll get those corners in a minute. I'll just kind of get that with my finger. I think I'm not gonna do a pink on the top of that. I'll just keep that pink to give it some weight down at the bottom. And then I've gotten, and you haven't seen the other pages yet, but I've got these little fairy stickers. Like I could put a little pink fairy sticker right there. I could put another, let's see. Got that one already. Now the thing with these stickers is they take 19 years to peel the backings off of them. So I'm not gonna do that on camera because that just takes so long. Come on, guy. I know I have another little guy over here. Okay, and then this little guy could just kind of go right up in January a little bit. And I don't mind if it overlaps. Some people like a lot of overlapping, and I think that's great too. But I think if he was just up there, it'd be fine. So, okay, we're back. And because I wrote these, I think I'm just gonna write new release. I think I don't need a sticker, and I don't think I need a stamp. I think I'm just gonna go for it. So, that's how we spell it. E-A-S-E-S. New releases. I ended up doing just 2 stickers right here. And one more thing I'm gonna do up here, wish me luck, is I am going to, I'm going to just write. People do this so slick. People do this so slick. I have to think a little harder about it, so we'll see how I do. Just make little pink lines. Look, I did pretty good on that. Whoosh, whoosh, bagoosh. Okay, and then kind of my favorite green. I was wondering if I should try a different green, but I like this green. So then we're gonna do the other months with the green. And there we are, we're done. I will go back in and fill that out. And I'm actually really excited to see it on paper and see which new releases are coming that I really, really want and what month they're coming in. So that is done. I had saved that page because I thought it's gonna be pretty cut and dry. And now I'll show you the other. So this, I think, is darling too. So this is books bought. And I'm not going to be recording a million things like other people do. I don't need a lot of stats. I just like to see my basics. And for me, that's what this is. So this, again, is just washi tape, and a little across the top. Book spot. January, February, March. Obviously, I screwed up right there. I started to write November that way. It's really hard to write this in columns if you're not used to it. Again, it's life. That's my mistake. It's my book, and I don't care. So I've given myself permission to buy 2 books a month. One in a series that I'm reading, because I read a lot of series, and the other could be a random book that's recommended to me. So, or, you know, something I'm just excited about. So my goal is 2 books a month, but there's 4 lines. Because sometimes I know myself and we might have more than 2 books a month. But that's my goal. I'm really trying to have a low to no buy year. And I'm going to try and just do 2 books a month. But I have like this one, like I've got these coming out. And I'm so excited for some of these when they come out. Okay, so that is my books bought. This one I will do on a video another day, part 2. This is going to be book bingo. You can see there's a bingo chart right here, and there'll be prompts over here. So I am going to record doing that whole thing, and that will be in part 2, because that's going to take a minute. I got an idea for this one, and it's going to take a minute. Let's continue on. This is my series tracker, because I read a lot of series. So I still have to write series tracker. But I just did 3 washi tape strips on the sides, 1 little music at the bottom. I did another Dutch door right here because I think I'm going to need this much more room to do my series. So that's going to be a big one for me, because almost everything I read are series, and I really need a good way to keep track of where I'm at. I tend to read a series and finish it before I move on to other stuff. But some series aren't completed, and so I do move on, and then I do a trilogy, and I'm going to read that trilogy till it's done. That is my personality. So I'm going to record all of that here. And then this is another page I'll do from beginning to end with you on my next video. But I really want, because I thought, oh, that's all I need. But I really want a page devoted to people who recommend books, and I love their recommendation. And I want to be able to write the book. I want to be able to write who recommended it to me and the date. And then what I'm going to do is, with the lines that they're in, pink is going to be my #1 priority. Like, this is a book I really, really, really want to read or purchase really, really bad. And then the green is going to be, maybe it can wait. And I thought I could have separate pages for that. Maybe I will. I'll do, these are my first choice, and these can wait in book recommendations. So I'm going to ponder this page, and then I'm going to decide. But that's something I really like to keep track of. I do that on Goodreads, but I can't see it at a glance. And I want to be able to just see that at a glance. And then every month I'm going to be doing a little page telling about the books I read, a little bit, So I will do one for each month at least, but maybe one for each book I read. My goal is to do one for each book I read, but we'll see how that goes. So that will be the end. And this is going to, I think, give me plenty of things to track. This is going to be a book bingo. You're going to have prompts right here, because I'm going to try and get out of my usual comfort zone of reading. So this will be like, read an indie book, read a thriller. I don't read a lot of thrillers, but the ones I've read, I've loved. So, you know, and then when I do that, I can check it off, and I can see if I ever get a bingo. I'm not concerned about getting a bingo. It's mostly just there to prompt me to get out of my comfort zone. So, boom, boom, boom. My shelves, read my shelves. Oh, my little bookshelf. My 24 and 26. Oh, thanks for being here and checking this out. I promise you, if I can do it, you can do it. And just make it however you want. just do whatever you want. And just, if there's anything you want to keep track of, write them down. And make a cute box out of it. Throw on a sticker. That's all this is. That's all I did. And I think I really enjoy how it turned out. Oh, on this page, we need to cut this little tab. Boo, boo, boo. Make it a curvy one. There we go. If you make your corners curve, like this one came that way, so I have something to follow, but it makes them a little more, like this one I haven't done that too yet. And I probably will, because it makes them a little bit more soft, a little bit more like they were meant to be. So book journal 2026, I'm excited to get reading and use it. Journals should be fun. And I hope that we make something that will be fun for us that we can use. I'd love to see your book journals if you do anything like this. I'd love to see just how you journal in general. But that's going to give me some fun and some crafting for the year, along with reading my books. I'm really excited. So happy 2026. I will have part 2 for those other couple of pages. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.